I'm just going to admit everybody.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. We're just going to get started in a couple of minutes. We're just waiting on some extra people signing in. So if you don't mind, just in the interim, if you would mind putting in the chat function who you are and the organisation that you're from, just so that everyone that's attending today can just see the range of organisations that we've got on our webinar. Hi, Lisa. Thanks, everyone. It's really nice to see all the different range of organisations that we've got attending tonight. We'll just give it another minute and then we'll get started. I don't want to keep these too long on a Monday afternoon at 4 o'clock. So another couple of minutes and then we'll get started. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining us on this. Well, it's a bit of a dull Monday afternoon up here in Glasgow. It's nice to see so many different people from different organisations across the UK for our sports leaders for community groups and active partnerships. My name is Nicola Roger, and I am the Development Officer for the Leadership Skills Foundation. So my mouse has decided not to work at the moment. Just give us a wee second. There we are. So yes, I'm the Development Officer for the Leadership Skills Foundation and I'm the National Community Lead, hence why I'll be presenting this webinar for you. Little bit of background for you. I've been with the organisation for 10 years now, and I'm a former Active Schools Coordinator, which is very similar to a Community Sports Partnership Officer down south, and I was also a CYP Development Officer many years ago. My colleague Rob Watson's also joining me on the call tonight. He's going to be helping me sort of answer any chat questions that we get in the chat function, and I'll just let Rob very quickly introduce himself.
Thanks, Nick. Obviously, you said my name is Rob Watson. I'm the development manager here at Leadership Skills Foundation. Been here since 2012, Olympic year. Quite a long time now. But yeah, my background is sort of teaching, sports teaching, lecturing, coaching, kind of general sport background, really. I delivered our programs for about 5-6 years in different organisations I work, so kind of got a good breadth and understanding of our sport programs across a number of different settings. So yeah, I'll be kind of in the background today, but be jumping in on the chat and answering any questions you've got in there. So please feel free to use that function, and we'll come back to any questions you've got at the end of the presentation, really.
Thanks, Rob. So just a little bit of housekeeping. Everybody's microphone is on mute just to kind of stop any background noise that we might have tonight. But as Rob said, that you're more than welcome to post any questions in the chat function. Or if you're feeling brave enough, then please raise your hand and we can unmute you, and you're more than welcome to sort of ask any questions that you may have along the way. Hoping to keep this quite informal. I don't want to kind of give you a bit of a death by PowerPoint on a Monday afternoon. So we've actually got one of our trusted organisations presenting some information about the impact of our programmes on their organisation, which was Sport Birmingham. So we'll introduce them a little bit later in the presentation, and you'll be able to hear firsthand the impact our programmes have on a community organisation for yourself. So you can see the agenda for today. We'll be going through an introduction to sports leadership, one of our core programmes. We'll talk a little bit about how the programme can fit into your community setting or your active partnership. Features and benefits. Everybody likes features and benefits. What does that mean? A little bit about the delivery journey. Already spoke about the impact that Sport Birmingham has had through delivering our programmes, and then hopefully we'll spend some time just having some questions from yourself, and you can ask some questions that might be pertinent to you or your organisation. So this isn't a quote from anybody important other than myself. So like I say, I've been working for the Leadership Skills Foundation for 10 years now. And prior to that, in my 2 previous roles, I actually delivered sports leaders qualifications. So for probably the best part of maybe, it's making me feel old now, 15, 16 years, I've been delivering sports leaders qualifications. And when I was doing this presentation, I wanted to think about why I've been delivering these and now basically involved in the organisation itself for so long. And for me, this is why. So I personally think that every young person has got a place on one of our courses. And it is our job, with help of organisations like yourself, to make these young people realise their potential through developing the necessary skills, which we'll talk about a little bit later on, which will allow them to succeed in whatever path they choose. So that's just my own personal view as to what I think the Leadership Skills Foundation programmes can do with the help of some organisations that will be on this webinar tonight. So we've got a number of qualifications. So we are a national organisation. So we've got sports leaders across 3 different levels, 1, 2 and 3 in England, Wales and Ireland. And then they are 4, 5 and 6 in Scotland. So we have for 40 odd years now delivered sports leaders programmes, and they mean different things to different people. But when organisations are delivering qualifications, there's always, why do we develop, what we're looking for? And the top thing, the top line is always that they're regulated qualifications. Doesn't matter where you are in the country, they're regulated qualifications and they actually sit on the SCQF framework in Scotland. Our golden thread, so we have a number of qualifications and awards that sit just below our qualifications that we call our stepping stone into the qualifications. Our golden thread in everything that we do is developing skills for young people. And those skills are communication, problem solving, teamwork, self-management and self-belief. And we believe that every young person has a right to get these skills developed. And we develop these through different mediums. And one of those mediums is through the sports leadership courses. There's lots of other benefits as well, which means that it meets the national skill agenda. But the biggest thing for me is that all of our programmes are really adaptive to your organisation, your programme, your outcomes, your funding needs, and they can be moulded into what you need them to be moulded into, whilst obviously developing these key skills for the young people that we so want. And sometimes it's about the young people developing and recognising the skills that they're developing and being able to put them to good use. So we develop these skills through the medium of sport, esports, environment, lots of different subject areas, but tonight we're just going to talk about the sports leadership mainly. So the sports leadership level 1 and 2. The top box is our level 1. This is just the specification box in terms of what units are included. And you'll see there's 2 units in the level 1, and then the box below is the level 2, and there's 4 units in the level 2. Every unit that we do, every first unit that we do is all about developing those leadership skills. So level 1 is about establishing those leadership skills, which is your communication, your teamwork, self-belief, your resilience. And then level 2 is about building upon those skills. And then we take them into various different things in terms of planning and assisting physical activity in sports. One of the misconceptions of our programmes, and it's probably part of the reason why we done a rebrand, was that you have to be sporty to do our qualifications. That's not the case at all. So we use sport and physical activity as a medium to teach these skills, but we've got many young people that are very good at communication, very good at organisational skills, but they might not necessarily be sporty or into physical activity, but there's always a place for them to do our courses and our qualifications, because they might be very good at organisation or communication or just getting people to do what they need. So it's really important to say that they don't always need to be sporty to do our qualifications, which is part of the reason why we moved away from being Sports Leadership UK to the Leadership Skills Foundation, because it's the leadership skills that we develop amongst young people across the UK and internationally. The level 1 sport is at currently £29 per person, and the level 2 sport is £39. We don't often talk about the cost structure, but you can see that's it there for you in black and white. The darker areas on each of these tables are your guided learning hours. So you can see that they're not massive courses. A big thing that we quite often explain to tutors is that these are vocational qualifications, not academic qualifications, and that's reflected in the level of learning that we require. So your total qualification time for the level 1 is only 31 hours, but 23 of those hours is the tutored time. So that is your time that you're spending with young people to deliver this course. And then obviously you can see the level 2 below, which is 24 hours guided learning time. But the amount that the young person has to do for the level 2 becomes a little bit more in the level 2. So they're expected to do 24 hours directed studies. So that's things like planning sessions, deciding what they're going to do, assisting in the event, and that's where those extra hours are made up for the level 2. So like I mentioned, we've actually got a suite of qualifications, which we've always had, and we also have awards as well, just a list of some of the awards that we have. Our awards are like the stepping stone into our qualifications. Our qualifications have external and internal verification processes, and sometimes community organisations can get a little bit put off, for want of a better word, from that regulatory side of the qualifications, and it's not onerous in any way, shape or form. But the awards are all delivered in the same format without that external and internal verification. So some of the awards were created to help have that stepping stone into how to deliver our programmes, and they're a very good starting point in terms of what to do when you're delivering our programmes, because they all follow the same ethos. They're all developing skills at various levels. So we've got the Playmaker, which is a primary award that then leads on to the Young Leader, leads on to the Go Lead, the Icon Lead, and then we've got the Your Time and the PELSA Awards. So Your Time is a girls only programme and PELSA is a primary PE programme as well. So I just wanted to point out that there is actually a whole suite of qualifications and awards that you can choose from for your organisation. Okay, so we have thousands of organisations delivering the qualifications and awards. And like I said to you before, the programmes that we deliver are fully flexible to fit into the needs of your organisation, whether you have a funding stream or you have outcomes to meet for certain things. And that's one of the reasons why I love the programme so much. I just wanted to kind of give a snapshot of some of the organisations that deliver. So we have a number of football foundations, for example, that deliver our courses. So we do have Liverpool at the very top, although not at the top at the moment, down to Accrington Stanwell, so down into a lower league club as well. We've got uniform groups. We work with the whole of the cadet forces, so the Army, the RAF and the Sea Cadets. We've got guides, we have scouts, we have a number of uniform groups delivering our courses. We have a lot of active partnerships. A lot of you are actually on the call tonight who currently deliver. We have youth councils or youth organisations, and they come from council youth organisations right down to local youth clubs on the ground that are run by Peter and Paul's mum and dad. And then we've got sports clubs. So we have local football clubs, we have local netball clubs, basketball clubs, you name it, we have it. So I just wanted to show the breadth of organisations that actually deliver our programmes, and you can just see from that list it suits everybody, and it's just about having those conversations with yourself as to what that delivery model for yourself will look like, and how you can pigeonhole it into what you're looking to do. Okay, as anything, like everybody needs they need a reason as to why they're doing it. So if you have funding or you've got outcomes to meet or whatever, then everybody needs to know why they're doing it. And there's lots of things here. I mean, I'm not going to read those points off the list myself, but you can see the list of stuff for active partnerships. But one thing that's actually come out recently of a programme of our own, our Sport England programme, is a phrase that people kept using called "grow your own." And this is kind of came because it's about young people actually getting various opportunities as a result of doing the sports leaders qualification. So we have a number of examples of young people who have done our programme, not been the most confident or resilient in what they do. They've came onto an organisation, a local youth organisation. They delivered their programme, they became more confident, they realised that they had a real knack for delivering sessions and organising people in groups and things like that. And then they ended up getting paid employment in that organisation. And that organisation, Penda, is growing their own because they were a young person that came and used their service. They then done their programme and then they've now went full circle, and there's some employment opportunities that's been available for them. I think Sport Birmingham might touch on some similar situations and stories from that as well. We had an organisation called the Single Homeless Project who used the young people that done their sports leaders qualification to run a local sports event. So they ended up giving back into the community. So they ended up running an event that was meant to be run essentially by the paid members of staff of that organisation, and they end up having the sports leaders kind of running that sports event for them, which ended up being an extension of their staff team. So we really enjoyed that grow your own phrase, and obviously you can see all of the other benefits to running the programmes too. One of the biggest features of anything that we do is it's a pick up and go qualification. So we provide everything for you. So there is PowerPoint presentations for every single unit of every single course that we have. And these are, you put them on the display and you run through it slide by slide, and we tell you games to do, activities to do. One thing that might not be obvious is that we are very much a young people will learn by doing, and that's what our course is. So our course will get young people to stand up, get out of their chairs, start delivering sessions to their peers, to other young people. And the way that we teach that is by getting those young people to do. So we do a lot of physical activity, games around communication, teamwork, a lot of youth work games, if you like, to teach these skills and tease out these skills that the young people have. So it's a very active course in terms of, you know, you're not sitting and we're not asking them to write hundreds and hundreds of things. So we've got PowerPoint presentations with lots of suggested activities in terms of how to teach communication, teamwork, resilience. And then they would record that evidence in what's called our learner evidence record, which again is provided for you. We've got digital versions, printed versions, downloadable versions, any sort of versions that you need. And then we've also got all of our forms, like our IV forms and our quality assurance forms, that's already provided for you on our resource hub. So these will all become available to any organisation as and when they sign up to any of our programmes, and you would be able to kind of have a look at that when you sign up. So the delivery journey is really straightforward. Essentially, you could sign up today and start delivering tomorrow if everything was in order. So you would register as an organisation with us, as a centre. You would give you access to all the resources and the modules for the staff. You would deliver it, you would certificate it, and then you would have the impact of actually delivering the course. Very simplified in terms of actually being able to deliver, but it's an easy process. And as a new delivery centre with us, then you would also get a dedicated relationship manager, which means that you have a point of call within our organisation to contact if you have any questions or queries. Okay, Rob, have we got any questions or anything before I go on?
Sorry, yeah, we've got one regarding sorry, the current format. Can learners provide evidence via video or British Sign Language?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, we have an alternative assessment method for any learners that are looking to provide evidence in another format that doesn't include completing our LER. It's quite an open process, whereas you would basically speak to our quality assurance officer and explain how you would like to assess the learners in whatever format is ideal for yourself. So yes, whatever way that you would like to assess the learners and whatever evidence you would like to provide, we just need a little bit of context for that before we actually go into assessing that course for you. So yeah, all we say is keep in touch with us, let us know what you're planning to do, and we will support you in that process. So I'm just going to answer some of these questions just now before. Is Callum on the call? Callum, are you on the call? Callum, yeah, Callum, you're there. I can see you. I'm just going to answer some of these questions just now, just a couple of them, and then we'll come to you, Callum. Is that okay? Callum done? Yeah, cool. Yeah, we have level 3 as well. So we definitely have a level 3 qualification. We've just not covered it in tonight's call, but yes, we do have level 1, 2, and 3, but we've just covered the level 1 and 2 at the moment. The minimum age for the level 1 is 11. And the costs 29 and 39. Economies for scale for block bookings. Yes, there absolutely is. All you would need to do is give us a wee contact, give us a wee call. My email's at the end of this presentation, and yes, definitely worth a conversation. Okay, so I'm going to pass over just now to Sport Birmingham, and Callum has very kindly agreed to share his journey with you of delivering two of the programmes that we offer, and I'll pass over to him, Callum, if that's okay. Rob, can you unmute Callum for me?
Yeah, sure. Ready to go. Callum, you've been unmuted.
Brilliant. Thank you for the introduction, Nicola. Hopefully everyone can hear me well. Just before a few minutes I was about to speak, my Wi-Fi went down. So if I freeze at any point, super apologies. But yeah, just to give you all a bit of flavor and context, it was Mad Birmingham that delivered on the program. Mad Birmingham stands for Making a Difference, and it is the delivery arm, the youth delivery arm for Sport Birmingham. Most active partnerships will have a CYP education team that has a focus on school games and that direct connection with schools. However, Mad is slightly different. We work in partnerships with schools, but really look at young people and supporting young people from a whole school and community perspective. Just to paint a picture for you guys, for Birmingham as a context, it's the youngest city in Europe. We have the biggest council within Europe, and that comes with many logistical issues. We have a lot of young people and families that are living below the breadline. We have big issues with serious youth violence. So there's a lot of context into the city that hopefully I can start to tease out, and the impact this skills program over the summer has made for us as an organization. Could you go on to the next slide, please? So to give you a bit of a concept, our inception, we knew we had to deliver the pilot over the summer. And we wanted to deliver two programs essentially. We wanted to deliver the Goal Lead Award, which was essentially a one-day program for children and young people. And we also wanted to deliver the Level 1 program, which had to be delivered. I think it was right in saying it was 34 hours all in all the program. We wanted to deliver it during half because summer is our biggest period of the year in terms of delivery. And we knew all our traction would be taking place during our half sites. And just to paint a picture, we had 3 half sites across the city, engaging around 150 young people a day. Within our 3 sites, Birmingham is it's like a bunch of villages that make a city. Each postcode so different. So for us to really test what we was doing, we wanted to really test it in one area. So we had Handsworth, Aston, and Acots Green. We wished to deliver it in, and we delivered it in Acots Green. A bit of a picture behind that work we're doing in Acots Green. We have a really good working relationship with the local secondary school, Archbishop Ilsley, and we've been working now for about 6 years with the local housing association. And them 2 players really helped form and recruit and helped host the work we was doing. So just a little bit about recruitment before I go on to impact. We're quite lucky that we have a real diverse team in the Mad team, real makeup of different genders, beliefs, ethnicities, and lived experience that really looked at understanding how learners learn that pedagogy, and also what are the pinch points for our young people, where is that trauma informed approach for those that are neurodiverse and don't have a good relationship with school, for example. How do we re-engage them into that classroom setting? So some of the focus points we had when we were discussing was how do we make sure it's relevant and comfortable for women and girls, diverse communities, young people that are suffering from serious youth violence or mental health issues. And just to say, we added a few, I should have added this part into the impact, but to celebrate, we made sure, young people love hoodies, they love rewards. So we made sure that there was nice bit of food out, a bit of music, a few hoodies, as you've seen in the first slide, and a few incentives to make them feel like they belong, but also to celebrate their success. So the next slide, please. So our impact, everyone that signed up to the program passed, which was amazing. As you can see on one part of the slide, there's a little red mark there. We had it because I wanted to be completely transparent to say we had one young person on the program that was dealing with a few mental health issues, and we couldn't re-engage back into it. So I don't want to give you the misbelief that we got 100 out of 100. It was 100 out of 100 for those that signed up and their data went over to skills. However, we're still working on everything we can do to make sure each individual is accessible onto the program. But unfortunately, we fell slightly short there. But a great impact for us is within the workforce, we had four members skilled to become tutors. So once they become tutors, that's a skill you can't take away from them now. So that skills stayed in-house, and it was fantastic to see our team tutor, see them develop their skills day by day, whether it's they're briefing in the morning, they're reflecting on the session yesterday, on what went well, where they need to make things slightly shorter because they over-explained, where they need to start to over-explain a bit more. So it was a real nice growing of skills from the workforce. And then a little knock on to that as well is as we're moving into our school delivery work, we have pre-existing programs, one of them called social skills, which is really a resilience model for young people in school. And two of our tutors are working on that. And as they were designing their programs, they took a world of learning from the leadership program to take over there. So taking part of the course also really for your workforce carries that learning. We felt like we carried that learning through into different projects and programs. And then a bit on the long-term impact. So we've got a theory of change in Mad Birmingham, which really echoes the Uniting the Movement, CYP, increasing skills and opportunities. And we do that through our social skills program, through our holiday camps. But when we spoke about skills, this was a direct impact within such a short frame that was measurable, and really we could grow and expand on it. So really, in terms of not just looking at it in a small pilot its entirety, but also the impact it's made onto our potential 25-26 impact report. There's direct impact there. And onto the last slide, please. This slide's a bit messy, but I really wanted to describe the ripple effect of what happens kind of in and around the course and post course. So in the middle, we've got the skills foundation and that initial investment, which has most definitely increased the skills and confidence we've had in our young people. I know the skills foundation have one of the videos we've made, and you guys are more than welcome to share that with everyone on here because it's got some personal reflections from some young people. But we've seen in real time how while they reflected on particular subjects and particular modules, and then how they really started to look at coaching as a craft and how they could really start to get better at their skills. And they're discussing, oh, I'm going to add this element into my practical today, and I'm going to do this, which was great. It added a element of youth consultation with them youth groups to say, well, when we're designing programs in the future, what can we consider? Relationships strengthened with our learners. So to say, I know the term grow your own's being used today, and MAD do the same. So we have a group of young people that took part in some of the courses, but they were already volunteering with us. So it was good. We got to measure them, and they were the particular ones that we could clearly see that we've seen a shift in mindset, a shift in change, particularly around coaching. Well, it really helped us build a rapport with them new people coming in. And just to say, through a handful of them young people, I think we've got 3 new volunteers through this process. One of our learners was applying through Coach Core. During this time, they had their interview and got their job with a partner organization we work with in the city. So even though they didn't pass the course at the time, they were going through that learning in real time. And I think to ask that question to that young person, it was like, while I'm working on it, and there's the theory that's stuck in my head. So when I'm talking, I can talk about communication. I can talk a little bit about resilience. And that also helped us recruit another paid person. So within our local, within the housing association we work with in that local patch, we deliver a youth-led youth club. So essentially, we've had young people we've trained up with leaders on site, with coaches and mentors on site, which their role is to almost step back and guide the young people into designing and leading their own sessions. With that, we have 2 young people that are paid coaches. So it's almost like a program where we take our strongest 2, employ them into work. They usually end up going to uni or getting a full-time contract with somebody else that we can't provide, but it creates a conveyor belt. And this course helps recognize that one of our young people, Jasmine, was definitely fitting for that role. The young people found a network within themselves. So whether they knew each other for the first time in the course or whether they didn't, over time, they really started to build that rapport with each other. And going back to the context of Birmingham, sometimes you can't undervalue how nice it is to see an independent, positive conversation from young people. It's not being forced, it's not being guided, it's just off the cuff. They're talking around their craft, they're talking about how they can improve as coaches and what they want to do with their careers. And we helped frame that, which was amazing. And my favorite one is when a young person that was on the program was asking if we're going to lead the program again. The Mad team was like, we don't know, we're not sure. We're going to see how our relationship goes with the Skills Foundation. But in short, yes, we would love to deliver it. The young person responded was, can I be a TA? Can I support the coaches in this? Because this really helped me. And I want to be able to help the next group of young people that are coming through. So in there, there's volunteering, there's work experience within tutoring, but almost the young people are seeing the conveyor belt. They're seeing how the staff and the tutors are training themselves up, and they're moving themselves from coaches to mentors to also tutors now. And the young people are clearly seeing that path route from a participant to, I can be a coach, but also what's stopping me from helping out the tutors? And then one day I could be a tutor too. So there was a lot to take away. If we had more time to mobilize, what I would have loved to have done, if we could fit in more time into it, is a bit more discussion around careers and path routes. I think the team of tutors were naturally good about having them conversations and they came organically off the cuff, but almost tailor it, particularly around our Birmingham partnerships. So we have the council, the Active Wellbeing Society, Villa Foundation, Birmingham City Foundation, a whole bunch of NGBs within the city. And as a group of middle managers in this partnership, we've become very familiar and we've really begun to understand each other's work. And the benefit of that is connecting in to giving each other that little step in here and there has really helped. So if we could have crossed calendars a bit better, it would have been super cool to have a mix of diverse leaders that are already in this work. So some NGBs, some people from Sport Birmingham, and some other leaders from in and around the city to come in and go, this is how I got into this piece of work and this is what my journey was like. And being completely honest about sharing the good, bad, and ugly about work sometimes. It's not all sunshines and rainbows. Sometimes you have difficult days at work, you have difficult situations. And actually, how do you maneuver that? If you're a woman and girl in sport, how do you maneuver that? If you're from an ethnically diverse community in sport, how do you maneuver that when you're neurodiverse? I would have loved to have that dialogue. So hopefully that's something we can do in the future. But all in all, it was a massive success for us. A lot of learning to take away, and this isn't something for us that we see as a pilot in isolation. There's so much learning, whether or not we get to go again delivering the course. There's so much learning we can take away from it. So sorry, Nicola, if I spoke too much at everyone there.
No, not at all. That was absolutely perfect, Callum, and thank you so much for giving your time to kind of share your impact. It's, it's exactly what we're looking for. Like I say, it's all very well me talking and telling you about how wonderful I think the programme is. But it's always like the power is in people that have done it, and obviously Callum's only just done it in the summer there, so a very recent organisation. Are you okay if I open some questions to you at the moment, Callum? Would that be
Yeah,
okay?
sure.
If anyone's got any questions for Callum, then please raise your hand, put it into the chat function, and between myself and Callum, then we'd be happy to field some questions. I think in terms of the rest of the presentation, there's only a couple more slides, but it's more about the impact. So, like I say, it's not about me talking to you and telling you how good our programs are and what they can do. This is just some feedback from some young people that we have across the programs. They speak for themselves. I'll let you sort of read them, give you a couple of minutes to read them. And then we've also got some feedback from tutors as well, which is always nice. Okay, so any questions about anything that we've covered tonight? Like I said, this is an open forum for you to kind of have us as a captive audience to ask any questions that you've got. We'll answer some questions in the chat function that we can see at the moment. So in terms of the cost, £29 and £39 is the cost per child at the moment. That rises on the 31st of October. But anybody that was on this webinar will get I'll just put it on, 20% off any learner registration fees if you register before the end of the month, which is the October half term. So if you are interested in registering, then get onto the website or get in touch with myself. That's my email there. nroger@leadershipskillsfoundation.org, and we will get you set up with a discount if you're looking for that £29 and £39 price point with the additional 20% off. Very easy process, but we will hold your hand and we will take it a step at a time so that you know exactly what you want to do and how to do it. Any questions? I will just leave the forum open if anybody wants to hang on and ask some questions. But thank you for your time on this Monday afternoon. We've only went a couple of minutes over, which was good because I was conscious that we had a lot to get through. This presentation will be sent out to everybody that signed up tonight and everybody that actually was on the attendee list. And we'll add a couple of little extras like maybe specifications and different bits and pieces so that you'll have all of that to go back, watch it at your leisure, and please do share it with any partners or colleagues that you have across your organisations.
Okay, Nick, I don't think we've got any questions coming up. There's no hands raised, so I think I'm just going to
Okay, we
end the
just
webinar
have,
for everyone. Oh, sorry, go on,
yeah.
carry on.
No, but no, say somebody's asked a question about signing up. The first step in the signing up process, you log on to our website, theleadershipskillsfoundation.org, and there's this little button up here called Centre Login. Click on that. And the first step to signing up and becoming a registered centre with us is down here. So registered to become a centre. If you click on that, it's a very quick Microsoft web form where it will ask for all of your details. So you can see there's only 10 questions there. If you submit that form, we will then get back in touch with you within normally 1 or 2 working days about the next steps in registering courses. Yeah, June? Oh, do you want to unmute June, please, Rob?
Yep, sure. Junior unmuted from our side. So if you unmute yourself, feel free to ask your question. And just answering Jenny's question in the chat, yes, we will be sharing the recording. Everybody should get a follow-up email within the next 48 hours. So please look out for that. And if you don't receive anything, obviously just get in touch with us and we can forward you anything on. Go ahead, June.
June, you get a question for us? Is your hand up? No?
Yeah, sorry, June. I've allowed your mic. It's saying you're muted on your end of the system, so you can try and find your unmute button. That'll help. If not, please feel free to type into the chat. Yeah, unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be working. So if you can just punch your question in, or get in touch with us after the webinar, that'd be great. The website is Leadership Skills Foundation. So if you Google that, it'll take you straight through to our website.
I'll put a link up for you.
Fantastic. Thanks, Nicola. I think pretty much at the end of it, and people started obviously logging off as well. So we'll end the webinar now. Like I say, everything will be followed up with everyone. So please feel free to go to the website, start research on what you'd like to deliver, or get in touch with if you need any more information. Like I say, we'll be followed up with you in the next couple of days. Thanks, Nicola. Thanks, Callum. Thanks, everybody, for attending.
Thank you, Callum. Thank you so much for your time. It's brilliant.
No problem. Thanks for having me, guys. Have a good one.
You too. See you later.
Bye-bye.